So we finally got the backstory and the context between Sanji and Zeph and why they care so much about this restaurant, the Barity, and why they care so much about not letting anybody starve or go without food. And it's even more tragic than I expected. The episode starts off with Sanji essentially trying to save Zeph from being shot. And once he gets knocked out, it goes to a flashback where Sanji's a kid and he's working in this restaurant and he's talking about somewhere called the All Blue, where all the fish from all the different parts of the sea live. And it's like this mythical place for cooks. Or chefs, and it's Sanji's dream to find this place, essentially. But while he's working in this restaurant, Zeph, who at this time is a pirate with the Cook Pirates, invades the restaurant and is stealing a bunch of stuff, robbing people, robbing treasure, doing what pirates do, basically, attacking the restaurant. And Zeph tries to defend it, and Zeph has no mercy at all with Sanji. Is literally, if you think about it at this point, Sanji's a kid and Zeph is just like kicking him about, beating the shit out of him. Like, obviously Zeph has no mercy at the moment. He's just a ruthless pirate that just wants treasure, and that's it, really. But due to unforeseen circumstances, with a tsunami hitting the restaurant and the boat, they both end up in the ocean, while Sanji ends up flying into the sea, and Zeph actually goes in to try to save him, because while Zeph is beating up Sanji's really resilient and basically saying he's not going to let a pirate defeat him because he wants to go to the All Blue, which, as we learn later, is also Zeph's dream. Because while Zeph is obviously a ruthless pirate, he sees something in Sanji that reminds him of himself, and that is the passion and the desire to find this All Blue. So Zeph dives into the ocean and saves Sanji, but they both wash up on this island, which is completely uninhabited, and there's no chance of getting food anywhere. There's no animals, no crops. They also can't even get in the sea because of the way that the rock formation is. So they're both forced to just stay there and starve. I can't imagine what this situation would be like. But Zeph happens to have 2 bags of food. He has a smaller one for Sanji as he's a kid, and a bigger one for him because he's an adult, so he needs more. At least that's how it's presented to us. And they decide to sit on either ends of the island so they don't have to interact with each other, and they can both scout for boats. Days and days pass. I think it's 50 plus days. Eventually, Sanji runs out of food, and he even drops his last bit of bread, which is going moldy, into the ocean. And like, the desperation in this episode, bro, is palpable. Like, I felt so nervous watching it. I can't imagine like a scarier situation, being in this place where you have absolutely no hope. Nobody's coming to rescue you. You don't have any food. It's awful. And Sanji at this point, like I said, is literally a kid. He can't be more than like 6 or 7 years old. Like, it's insane. Eventually, Sanji decides, once he runs out of food, to go over to Zeph's side and see if he has any food remaining. And it turns out his whole sack of food is still completely full. So Sanji decides to get a knife and try to kill Zeph and steal the rest of his food. But by accident, the bag gets sliced and a bunch of treasure falls out, and it turns out Zeph didn't have any food to begin with. He gave it all to Sanji. And it's also revealed that he lost his leg saving Sanji, which is what makes him the Redfoot Zeph. That's what makes him the pirate he is. So he's literally lost everything, pretty much. And he's essentially passing his dreams onto Sanji of becoming a pirate, getting to the Grand Line, and finding the All Blue for both of them. This whole time, it looks like Zeph has just been looking out for Sanji, He put his own desires aside, his own needs aside, for food, for survival, and was looking after this kid that I believe he saw part of himself in. And there's something really beautiful and tragic about this whole situation. These two that came together under these circumstances, originally basically as like enemies pretty much, but have been brought together by this shared desire to reach the All Blue. And eventually a boat comes, Sanji sees it, and they're eventually saved, of course. But getting the context as to why they are how they are and why they don't want anybody to be in that situation is, amazing. One Piece is so fucking good at doing these stories and giving context to the world and its characters and why they do what they do. We also hear the line again from Zeph about him wanting to open the restaurant in the ocean so nobody has to experience this situation. He says he's been through it multiple times. I imagine this was the worst one. But that's why he does it, so nobody else has to experience what he's experienced. And God, it brings so much more weight to what's happening right now, and the Barate and Sanji and Zeph as characters and everything that's happened. Like, it's unbelievable. It's made me look at these characters and this whole situation in a completely different light. Like, it's wow. The storytelling in this is fucking unbelievable. Same with the backstory with Zoro and Usopp and now Sanji. It's just, I'm so invested in these characters because of where they came from, what their goals are. It's insane how hooked I am on this series already. But I got nothing else to say. This episode was beautiful and tragic and heartbreaking and amazing. Literally, One Piece is goated, man. It really is.